Hi, my name is Ginger Martin, and I'm here to help women learn residential carpentry so that you can feel empowered to do your own projects. Today, we're going to talk about the combination square, so let's dive in. So before we jump into using the combination square, I wanted to upload a few pictures to show you what a combination square is, what it looks like, and go over some of the parts of the combination square to get used to the terminology. So in this video, this is the combination square. I'm going to talk a little bit about the blade. The blade of your combination square is, of course, the long black part is called the blade. It has your inches on one side and centimeters on the other side. The blade can slide back and forth in the square handle so that you can lock in on a measurement. The blade can also slide completely out of the of the square handle so that you can use it as a straight edge or as a ruler. You'll notice that it says 1/32 in the corner of this blade. That means that those measurements go all the way down to 1/32. This next picture is a picture of the handle of the combination square, which is called the square head. The square head holds your blade. There's a screw that you can tighten or loosen, which allows the blade to move back and forth, or it locks it in place, like I said, to lock it in on your measurement. You'll notice that curved part on your handle. This is usually is gripped between your thumb so that it's held just like a handle, but that rounded piece, it gives you like a more security when you're gripping your square and holding your wood in place, because you want to keep that uh, square edge tight up against your wood. The square edge also holds your level, and it holds a scribing pin. This is the level, and this is your scribing pin. Usually you use your scribing pin when a pencil or pen isn't working, like maybe on a piece of metal where your line isn't showing up. So your scribing pin screws in and out. Some of them just plug in and out. I rather the ones that screw in and out, because I have lost some scribing pins before, get caught on something, get loose and fall out. So I tend to like the scribing pins that screw into the square handle. So now we can actually get into using our square, making some marks and seeing what happens. So I'm ready. Let's go. So when you use your combination square, you want to hold your square and put the curve of it in the palm of your hand, like I was saying on the picture. You grip your square. You always want your square head to be flush up against your wood, like that. When you hold this up, you can see that this piece of wood is square on this side because the blade is touching and the square head is touching on both sides. If I turn this board around, we can see that this side isn't square because when I hold the square head up against it, there's this big gap over here. Push that gap down, it's going to make a gap on this side. So this side of the board is out of square. So we're going to spin this around and we're going to use this side because it's in square. You can loosen the pin or the screw on your square head, and that allows the blade to slide back and forth so you can lock in on a measurement. So let's say we want to lock in on a measurement. If you have a line already and you want to lock in on that line, you can push your square out till it gets right on that line. Hold your square head flush to the wood, check your line, tighten your screw. And then this line can be continued down if we want to go back a little. Okay, and then we're going to tighten our screw so we can continue this line.
I'm making these lines really thick because so that you can see it. But the thickness of your line counts whenever you are gonna cut something, because if your line is too thick, like if you were to use a marker, then you would need to know which side of the line to cut on and all that kind of stuff. And we'll get into that when we get into the circular saw and the power tools. Well, even on a hand saw, you just don't want your lines thick, which is why I actually like to use a pencil, a sharp pencil or a pen. When you hold your square head flush with the side of the board, you can hold your pen on the thing and on the blade and just drag it down, and it'll make your line like that. Your square can also make 45 cuts, so you want to kind of slide it back so you can have some space with your blade. You can lock your blade, and I'm going to push that up to the corner. And I'm going to hold that straight along in that groove again. That groove is really helpful for me. And you make your line. I hope you can see this, because these lines are, I don't know, the wood seems to flush out the lines. And that's how you make your 45. So your 45 would be used for molding, floor molding, or trim around your doors and some other picture frames. You know, that's where you're going to use a 45. We're going to talk our little scribe here. Like I was explaining, your scribe can be used in the place of a pencil or a pen when you're trying to make a mark on metal. And it won't show up. I can trace this line with my scribe or my pen, but let's say we're using metal. And so your scribe would actually make a little scratch mark in your metal. I can scratch up my wood, but yeah. But I can see I have a line here. But if you're using metal, that scribe pin comes in really handy. And like I said, I like the scribes. They screw right in there. You can maybe hopefully see that little screw there, and that screws in so that that doesn't fall out. And our level on our combination square. When you use, not bad. When you use this is your level. So you want to make sure that this bubble is as close in the middle of these two lines as you can get. So you can see this bubble is it's in the middle, but it's a little bit more to that side. So whatever you're working on, see, it just takes a little bit till that's in between those two lines, and then that's level. You can also use your level to get a plumb, which plumb is vertical up and down. And once again, that's not too bad. It's in between those lines. This is flat. The blade is flat. So that means that that would be plumb. We'll talk about a plumb bob another time. You also want to always, another reason you want to make sure your blade is always tight when you're using your combination square is because if it's not tight, the blade can move. Maybe you can see like this. Let's put our square head on there, hold it tight. My blade isn't tight. I loosen the screw. But you can see that that square is moving. So if you're holding your square like that, and you push down on your pencil too much, you can move the square, and then your line is wrong. It's out of square. Another thing about using our combination squares, you can also make a depth in the wood. If you want to cut, let's say, if you want to cut a 1-inch groove out in this wood by 1/4 of an inch deep, we can take our square, we would set it on 1/4 of an inch right there, tighten it. And then we can make a line along our wood like that. That will be 1/4 of an inch deep. And then I'm gonna use this line as my ruler. Let me stretch that out like that. If I put this on 1 inch, you can see it's on 1 inch right here. I can put a mark right here, right there. Tighten my blade, turn it around, hold it on that mark. Once again, I'm trying to make these lines really dark. So 1 inch, square these lines down. So put your square on the side like that. Square that line down. Square that line down. And when you cut this out, you can use a circular saw, which we haven't gotten into yet, but you would set your circular saw at 1/4 of an inch, and you can just kind of run it a few times and then take a chisel, and you'd be able to knock that out, making a 1 inch by 1/4 of an inch deep groove on your wood. Okay, that is all that I can think of about a combination square. It is it's a simple tool, but it really comes in handy a lot. We use our combination square in carpentry a lot. So if you don't have a combination square, you should get yourself a good combination square. A combination square also comes with other attachments. There's a circle attachment where it looks like a V and you can find the center of a circle. And there's also an attachment for a protractor. I never use those very much, so I don't have those attachments, but they are available to buy. So I think that is it for our combination square. So if you find that these videos are helpful and you like these videos, you want to, try out some carpentry, I'm going to ask you to please like and subscribe to the channel, because it really does help the channel grow, and share it, and I hope to see you back. Thank you.